everybody. Welcome to Midwest Outdoors. Dan Quinn with the Rapala VMC Group. Out on the ice today, Minnesota, real small little lake. You know, a lot of these little lakes, they're full of big fish. Today, we're going to be focusing on big bluegills. We're hoping to use some new VMC tungsten tubby jigs, some of the new Trigger X panfish baits, throw our markham down, and see if we can entice a few of those great big bluegills. You know, there's one thing that I always make sure I'm doing when I'm fishing with plastics is to keep it moving. Once in a great while, they'll want it just sitting completely still, but for the most part, it might be an extremely subtle jiggling action, but especially with that spike tail worm, I want it moving, kind of swimming like a bloodworm might swim in the natural environment. Keeping it moving, you're going to entice those fish. If I don't see any on my screen, I'm going to jig fairly aggressively. You know, getting their interest is one thing, but actually getting them to commit and bite is another. The other tactic is keeping it away from them. As they start honing in on it, getting closer, I'll keep moving it a little bit. And a lot of times that'll really irritate them, and then all of a sudden they'll chomp down and you've got them. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, it's a great big bluegill. Wow, look at the size of that one. That is a monster. Big old female. See, with the longer snout, the yellow. What a beauty. These great big bluegills, it's really important to let them all go. Now keep those 6, 7, 8-inch bluegills for the table and let these great big ones go. Using the right line is very important when you're fishing for bluegills. I like 2 or 3 pound fluorocarbon. Suffix Ice fluorocarbon is what I go to. You go heavier than that and you don't get the action out of your bait. And you go too light, like that 1 pound, sometimes you have to do that to get them to bite, but you've got to really slow play them. So what I've felt real comfortable with 3 pound fluorocarbon. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This is a huge bluegill or a bass. Not sure. It's fighting like a bass. Yeah, it's a bass. Well, that was a fun fight, though. I'll take them. Let's try to get a bluegill that big. Well, the time of day can really be a big key to catching a bunch of fish. Sometimes there's a morning bite. Sometimes there's an evening bite. Sometimes they'll bite all day, but each lake is a little bit different. And a lot of times with that evening bite, with the diminishing light, the plankton and different little tiny invertebrates start coming off the bottom, which the whole circle of life, the ecosystem, kind of follows suit. So the small tiny things up to the bloodworms start eating that, and it pulls the fish off, gets them a little bit more active and aggressive. So, you know, sometimes if you try a spot or a lake and you don't catch much, and you're fishing it in the morning, in the afternoon, give it a shot in the late afternoon, and sometimes that'll work. You know, like I said earlier, these small little lakes are scattered all over the Midwest. And some, they might not be good one year, but give them a few years, give them another try. Sometimes things can completely change and the fish can blow up and show up. There'll be huge fish. Lakes kind of cycle like that, especially your panfish, the bluegills and crappies. You know, sometimes different fish get removed or throws things out of whack, but give it some time and oftentimes they'll come back. I tell you, these bass are a riot on this light tackle. 3 pound line. Oh, it's a big old bluegill. Holy smokes. I thought it was a bass. There is a beauty. Look at the colors on that thing. We've got the VMC tungsten tubby jig and the Trigger X spike tail worm. I went to a dark color, trying to match the hatch, make it look more like a natural bloodworm. Sure enough, this big one came up and ate it. And I'll say it again. Go out, find one of these small little lakes. Maybe you drive by it on your way to work. Just get out there, pop some holes, drop a line, see what's in there. You never know. There are lots of these little small lakes just filled with great big fish that don't ever get any pressure. Maybe they got a lot of pressure and supposedly were fished out, but give them a few years, oftentimes they'll come back. But you know, you just don't have to go far. Find a lake close to your house and get out there, pop some holes, and give it a whirl. There's a lot of hidden gems out there that have never been fished. I'm Dan Quinn. Stay tuned for more Midwest Outdoors.